there's another nice little set of bends coming up here. And using a bit of regen here, I don't have to use the brake rolling into corners, just roll off early. And just feels nicely balanced. 45k corner, so it tightens, in become, just hold it, yeah, nice. And you can feel it sort of sits on the outside wheel there, but it still goes nicely. Right, welcome, good morning. I'm in a Leapmotor C10, and your first question is, what the hell is a Leapmotor C10? I'll get to that shortly. We've got a 100% battery showing a range of 401 kilometres, and that's why we're in it. They claim 420 WLTP. If we can stretch 400, that'd be good. So I've got my usual road lib today, which is a ripper. Let the journey begin. What is the real range of this car? Right, a lot of us are a bit time poor, so if you haven't got 30 minutes to spare, here's the executive summary. Now in this video I keep making comparison with the world's best-selling car, the Tesla Model Y. Although the way things seem to be headed, that crown might change sooner rather than later. Now this car is a worthy competitor in the mid-sized electric SUV market, despite being much, much cheaper than a Model Y. While the outside might be considered a little bit maybe bland, it's got a lovely spacious interior. It's a more polished product than some I've tested lately. It's got lots of features, all the safety tech you've come to expect, and even though you've probably never heard of this young Chinese brand, they're big, doubling sales every year, and in Australia they have the Stellantis group backing them. So there's a lot to like, and I really did like it, and I enjoyed my drive. That said, I did have a few glitches along the way, so you can keep watching, or if you're still really short on time, then you can skip to the summary in the last 3 or 4 minutes for my final assessment. Mark's not here. Firstly, he's got a cold, and secondly, this is a medium-large SUV, a type of car that he particularly is not very fond of, so I think he's quite happy to leave it up to me to do the range tests. Last week we had the Zeekr X, and that's a different kettle of fish altogether. That's more a compact hatch, whereas this car is an SUV, and first impressions, it drives like one. You're sitting high, really good vision, and even though I've turned off as many bings and bongs as I can, you'll still find the car will be talking to me. So this car is what you'd call garrulous. It likes to have a chat, it likes to bing and bong and talk to you and tell you what you're doing and give commentary, and if you say, show me the cameras, it'll go, no, please focus on your driving, you don't get cameras. It's a bit like your dad. Now, I like this stretch of road because this bit here is my test of noise. If it sounds bad right now, and it will, every car I bring on this little stretch is terrible. See, because next minute, nothing. So, I'm not using lane assist and all that stuff because I like to drive. But I am using cruise control right now just to try it. And these knobs are exactly Tesla. I mean, they started by copying Tesla. All the Chinese brands sort of started with Tesla as the base because the Tesla Model Y is the world's best-selling car. And in Australia, as far as EVs go, it's Australia's best-selling car. They sold 21,000 of them last year and 17,000 Model 3. So Tesla's still at the top of the tree, although MG and BYD rapidly catching up. So the balance is changing. Medium to large size SUVs are the most popular segment in Australia. Number one selling car in Australia, okay, dual cab, Ford Ranger. But then you've got the RAV4. So people do love their medium sized SUVs. Now the RAV4 is a very comparable car to this. Okay, it comes in hybrid and petrol and two-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. But the starting price of a RAV4 is the same as the starting price for this car. And importantly, if you want a full EV, like this car is between $17,000 and $21,000 cheaper than the cheapest Tesla Model Y, as you saw in the thumbnail for this video. So if it's 20 grand cheaper than Model Y, can it be anything like as good? That's what we're going to find out today. Now listen to that. That is absolutely blissfully quiet. Hardly any wing or mirror noise. Now, we've got a hill here. We'll change lanes. And we'll see how she goes up the hill. Ka-whoosh. Gentle squeeze on the throttle. Okay, what are the basic specs? There are only two models. There's the style and the design. This is the design, the up-spec one. And to look at them, the only way you tell them apart is the 20-inch wheels on this one versus the 18s on the other. They've got the same drivetrain, 160 kilowatts, 320 newton meters of torque. They're rear-wheel drive. They're fairly heavy at around 2 tons, and you can sort of feel the weight in this car. It's not a rocket ship, but up at this speed at 100k an hour and above, it's not a powerhouse. And I'm sure with 4 people and luggage on board, it'll still go perfectly adequately. Oh, come on guys, you don't have to go this slowly. Why do people insist on doing 80k's an hour through 100k an hour speed cameras? So why am I reviewing it at all? Well, I just couldn't resist. I mean, it's trying to be a Tesla Model Y for $20,000 less, so it's worth having a good look at it. And you know, first impressions, doing a bloody good job. 20 grand's a lot. Did I just miss my exit? Hope not, because I was talking to you. Tesla Model Y, first comparison, battery. This has got a 70 kilowatt hour battery, the Tesla has a 60. And yet the range on the Tesla claims to be 455 and this one 420, because the Teslas are very efficient. This one claims to be only around 20 kilowatt hours per 100k. We're going to try and better that today. Already we're at 19, and that was a very unfavourable section on the freeway. I'm hoping it'll actually get better. Well, think about it. If it's implying 20 kilowatt hours per 100k and the battery is 70 kilowatt hours, that implies you can only do 350k. And you're going to take 4 large people off on holidays. It'd be nice to have more than 350k. It is an LFP battery, so it's a lithium iron phosphate, which means you can comfortably charge it to 100%, which is what I did last night, because yesterday's charging experience wasn't very satisfying. So let's fling the clock back to yesterday so you can see how that went. Look, I've only just picked the car up, and already we found it wouldn't charge at the Jolt charger. I went to first up, then came here to BP Pulse. First time, bad connection, disconnect, reboot, have another go, and we got going. So we're charging now, so it's about 50 kilowatts. We're done, and we put in $30.65. We just added 47 kilowatt hours. Woo, 95% full. In standard range, if we drive sensibly, it reckons we can go 452 k's. Dynamically 386. I'd say we'll be closer to dynamic. In the interest of being a comprehensive review, we failed at the Jolt charger. We took 2 attempts at the BP. Let's try another one just to see if we have any more success, just for fun. Let's see if we can get in there. Pretty good camera, look at that. Hey, how's that, eh? And that's really helpful. It says, wait a minute. You're charging. Looks like nothing's happening. Don't worry, it takes a minute for us to see your progress. That's what you said last time. Not optimistic. No active charges. Disappointed. I'm lucky. I can normally just charge at home, but we actually had a big storm and we've lost power in the garage at the moment, so I can't. Unusually, I'm reliant on public charging. Anyway, we're doing a trip, and you might be doing a trip as well, so you'd want to know public charging works. So we'll give it one more go up at the NRMA at Hunter Valley Gardens. We'll be living life on the edge tomorrow. Day 2. So by charging at home overnight, I was able to get it up to 100%. All right, let's talk about the interior. Seats very nice, and I've got... Exceeding the speed limit of 40 kilometers per hour. It's not 40 k's an hour, it's 60 k's an hour, because it's school holidays. It's the middle of January. The schools haven't gone back. No. Right, the interior. I love it. It's super comfy. I've only got a 6-way seat here. There's no lumbar support, but it does have cooling and heating, and heated steering wheel as well. That's stuff you only get on the upmarket design model. Typical SUV, sitting high, slightly soggy, feeling slightly unresponsive. You turn it and then a minute later it moves. It's not orange, it's not brown. They call it Criollo brown, but it's neither. I'd call it ochre, burnt ochre or coral or something like that. But it's a particularly nice colour in any light. Massive. Yep, there it is again. Now, come on. It's them that are on the wrong side, not me. Don't tell me about it. So it's a fixed panoramic roof, but with a full length sunshade, so the people in the back can get plenty of light. All right, and here you can hear it's whisper quiet. It's actually a really nice environment. I like it. It'd be nice with lumbar support, but it's actually okay. Reasonable stereo.
This next track has some swear words in it.
Oh, I don't want to hear swear words, not on my video. Now let's talk about the outside. It's a rounded box, I guess. I find it not unattractive, you know? It's inconspicuous. It doesn't shout at you. It's not overstyled, like, for example, a RAV4 I mentioned before. This at least is an honest car. And I think in this segment, if you're looking for a medium-sized SUV, how attractive it is isn't probably your highest priority, but nonetheless, I don't find it too bad at all. If you're an ASIO agent and your job's surveillance, secret surveillance and following other people, it'd be fantastic. No one's going to notice you, even less than in a Camry. It's a secret agent's car. But have a look. What do you think? Do you like the styling, or is it just too blobby, or is it kind of cool? What do you think? Now the back seat, oh my God, it's magnificent. Look back there. So spacious. They claim the cargo space is only 1,400 litres or something like that, but it can't be. Compared to a Tesla is bigger. It's 2,100 litres or more, 2,170 or something like that. This has to be close. I don't know how they measured it, but there's masses of space back there. Look at that. Big family, taking 4 or occasionally 5 people. Yeah. ISOFIX points for your kid seat, no worries. That's good. Hidden wiper under there, it's really good. Unlike the Zeeker's one, which had the tiny little baby one here. That's nice. It's tucked away up there. You'd never even notice it. Ah, that's hilarious. Now that is funny. All that space, they could so easily have put something in there, yeah, but they didn't. Wow. All right, we've sorted out our safety systems, we're underway. A few little teething problems, that's one. The second one is there's no Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Oh boy, my phone's hot there. It's probably coming. They can't tell me, but you really need that because there is a little Leapmotor app store in there and it's got a few apps, but you've got the basics, you've got radio, you've got Spotify, you've got pretty good nav, but you haven't got Waze and a better route planner and plug share and all the things you really like to have when you're in an EV. You've got wireless charging and the phone is connected through Bluetooth for phone functions, but no, we need Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, please. Which leads me to the brand, Leapmotor. Interesting name. I think the Leap's a reference to, do you remember the Great Leap Forward in the late 60s when Mao Zedong tried to transform China from an agricultural nation to an industrial nation? That's Leap has a sense of progress about it. Progress Motor. They were founded 10 years ago and now a controlling stake owned by Stellantis, who own, as you know, Fiat and Dodge and Ram and Alfa, and they've taken it on Leapmotor to sell their cars in Europe and here in Australia. So you have got the Stellantis group behind this car. So yeah, last year they sold nearly 300,000 vehicles. They've only had 6 models since they started, but this is obviously the killer one. They've doubled their sales in a year. So they've, just in the last year or two, Leapmotor's really progressed. Up to 30, 31, 33, and then by 35 it's gone. And off we go to the speed limit, cruise control on. It gets up and goes, but it's not a car that says fling me in here like this one. Just sweep round there. Likes a smooth road, doesn't mind a bumpy road. Pretty good through the potholes. But it's, you know, you can see that's a little soggy. If you start doing that, can you see that? Soft as. And we won't try and make it do something it's not really intended to. It's an SUV. The steering's nice though. That's actually turned in really well. I do have it on the sport settings, so the steering's firm, throttle's responsive, and maximum regen. 80 k's an hour. Just see how the stop is. Actually, that was pretty good. Yeah, let's just treat this car for what it is. Transferring people from the Hilton to the airport. Taking the family on holidays.
Continuous curve ahead.
Yep.
Please drive carefully.
Continuous curve ahead, please drive carefully. And it switched off the cruise control for no particular reason there.
You are exceeding the speed limit.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm doing 80 in an 80 zone. And there we go. Once again, cruise control's cut off.
Curve ahead. Please drive carefully.
Now this is a narrow road. And despite driving squarely in the middle of my lane, the emergency lane keeping assist is going off constantly. I'm perfectly positioned, and yet we have this constant bing bong. That won't do. You can't have a car like this where you can only drive it on a nice wide freeway. We can turn it off, but we have to be stopped. We can't turn it off when we're on the go, because yeah, that's intolerable. Look, these kind of alerts are pretty much the norm for lots and lots of new cars, so there's no need to get worked up. The good news is you can turn her volume right down, or turn a lot of these alerts off completely. The bad news is you have to do it every time you get in the car. And look, driving sensibly, I have managed to bring the economy down a little bit. We're down to 18.4. We should be able to do better. I'd like to be in the 16s if I can. I'm starting to get a little bit hangry. Oh, it looks busy up here. Coffee time. And here you can see the world's best reversing camera. Look at that. Locked. Pork and fennel sausage roll and a nice coffee, first one of the day. Right, things we like about this car: space and comfort, really nice interior, I really like it. And it's cheap, you know, 47 to 50 grand. Bump suppression's good, the ride's good, seat comfort's great, the air-cooled seats particularly. I like the straightforward selection of the modes. You've got Eco, Normal and Sport, and Eco sets maximum regen, relaxed steering and soft throttle response, whereas Sport at the other extreme, most dynamic throttle response, maximum regen again, and nice firm steering. That works pretty well, but even so, it's not a very pointy car. The screen, the centre screen's fantastic. It feels like the little screen in front of the driver, they haven't provided you everything they could there. You don't get your nav or anything in the middle of that screen. It's really just got your range, your battery state and your speed. I think there's more they can do with that they just haven't implemented yet. But it is nice to have a screen in front of you. There is an app that comes with the car, but it provides all the usual functions: lock, unlock, air on, track where the vehicle is, and set your charging and so forth. So pretty straightforward. So the next stop is Hunter Valley Gardens, where we're going to try and recharge. But I did find one glitch. When I set off again after my coffee, he was in eco mode. And I go, okay, fine, let's change it, and I can't. It says I have to deactivate one pedal first, and that's locked on. And it says I can't deactivate one pedal till I park the car. Switch to sports mode.
Sorry, this person is not found in your contact list.
Yeah, silicone leather, they call it. And it does make you feel special, to be honest. It's lovely. Back seat, fantastic. I mean, look at all that space. It's got its own dedicated air vents. I think there are USBs back there. It's a really good back seat. No problem with leg room and the high floor you normally have with EV batteries intruding masses of space. So very nice.
Navigation has been cancelled. See you next time.
Let's try this one. Connect to start. Swipe, start. Well, using the app was really simple. The question is, does it work? It says it started, but actually has it? Come on, give me some watts. There we go. NRMA to the rescue. 2 out of 4 ain't bad. It's working, it's charging. We don't actually need to, we can get home, but it was really just to prove that it worked. And we're coming in at 49 kilowatts. That's as fast as these NRMA ones will go. Maximum rate for the car is only about 84, but that's irrelevant really, isn't it? If the charger can only give you 50. Here again is where a Tesla is an advantage. There are a couple of Tesla superchargers that we could have diverted to on the way here, and they charge much, much faster. But hey, we're doing well with the economy, so I don't really care. Put a little bit in, then we'll head home. Standard range, 310k, dynamic 259. That's fine.
I didn't get it. Please say it again. I'll quit for the moment. Please wake me up whenever you need me.
Okay.
You can tell me.
Oh, good. Navigate to McCarrolls.
Sorry, I didn't understand. I'm coming.
Are you? I didn't expect that.
Sorry. Here. Please observe the applicable traffic regulations.
I will do. Driving safety stuff. Emergency lane keep assist off. Intelligent speed assist off. Active safety. Forward collision warning I want. Lane departure warnings I don't want. And distraction warnings I don't want. Every time you get in the car, you've got to put that there. Now we can drive. Phone goes there. That goes in the deep pocket. Lots of storage here. You can put in reverse, look at that. Mirrors dip automatically. D for drive, navigation. We're moving. Oh no, wheel bearings collapsing.
Leave the roundabout at the first exit.
And we lose that horrible sound and we're back in blissful silence. Look, tell us in the comments, what do you think? Is it a viable competitor? Do you have any concerns about the brand, knowing that Stellantis is behind it? There's no doubt that Chinese have fully embraced electric vehicles.
Now turn left.
You can see the shift in emphasis in the United States at the moment. They're moving back towards petrol cars, and that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt the American manufacturers, not just Tesla, but ironically, but also General Motors and Ford are going to struggle with their EVs in their own territory, let alone exporting them. The Euro manufacturers, the Germans, unfortunately, Porsche, BMW, Mercedes, EV sales stable or falling, and the Japanese just not enough enthusiasm, too late to the game, and their products are lukewarm compared to the Chinese offering. So get ready for a deluge that will continue of cars like this, maybe of brands you've never heard of. And this is a really quality car. It's not a sports car. I don't think Mark would enjoy it, but it's a fine car. So I just have one question for you. Does that look like a $9 milkshake? And I'll turn right back around. Call.
Whom do you want to call?
Mark Williamson.
Multiple results are found. Which one do you want to choose?
They're not people, they're places. Yeah, I have to tell you.
This person is not found in your...
I have to tell you, voice command stuff, not very good, sorry. The driving experience though, fine. Solid, good SUV, good economy since we left Hunter Valley Gardens, 14.2, so that's really good. It'll be a bit faster from here on though, so I'm sure it'll drop away. So yeah, I have to thank McCarrolls. I hope you do well with it. I hope you sell a few. You really should. A few over-the-air updates though to fix out a few little things would be great. We've got these nice wallpapers. Look at that, the moon. Yeah, it's not stuff you want to do when you're driving, is it really? But we'll just leave it on there. And 16.4 kilowatt hours per 100k average for the last 200 k's. That's good. That's almost in Tesla territory now. It's a very rough bit of road, this little bit here. Terrible potholes, badly filled, and yet not too bad. Cruise control on. There's another nice little set of bends coming up here. And using a bit of regen here, I don't have to use the brake rolling into corners, just roll off early. It just feels nicely balanced. 45k corner, so it tightens. In we come, just hold it. Yeah, nice. And you can feel it sort of sits on the outside wheel there, but it still goes nicely, which is quite good. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it gets really upset. It doesn't like that at all. Definitely not a car you want to be pushing along in a hurry and standing on its nose. And no, just don't do that. It's not that kind of car. Just cruise along cruise and be smooth. But because it's an EV, it stays nice and flat. It just doesn't like the balance to be upset. So here's a real tightening corner, just load it up. The grip's actually pretty good. That's pretty good. We've caught this little SLK Mercedes. This chap was having breakfast earlier on, and he's just taking it very gently in the Merc today, which is probably a good thing because it'll help our economy if we're stuck behind him at 25 k's an hour under the speed limit. Alright, so there you are folks, that's the Leapmotor C10. So let us know in the comments, what would your issues be? Would you consider a car like this? And if not, what would be the main issue for you? Is it the brand name itself, the fact that it's relatively unknown? Or is it relating to the charging? You know, the fact that I had issues, which, you know, today, no problem at all. Yesterday, a bit of grief there. Or is it the lack of functionality like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto or something else? So, love to hear your thoughts. Let us know, would you consider a car like this? If you are thinking about a Tesla Model Y, are you at all swayed by this? $20,000 cheaper. That's a lot of cash. And it's not $20,000 less of a car. Because that little spirited bit coming up over the ridge, it's gone back up to 17.9 for that last section. So maybe we can keep in the 17s. I doubt we'll get the 16s.
One eternity later.
So that's our journey over, and we're back at the lovely McCarrolls at Artarmon to return the car. And they've got everything here, Maserati and Jeep and everything you could possibly want. Yeah. There we go. And there's my mighty MG right there. We'll park right next to it. So as we admire the beautiful ambient lighting, here's the story of our whole trip. 308 k's, 16.6 kilowatt hours per 100k. Significantly better than they claimed. Go me. Right, over to you, voiceover Stu. But despite my eco-driving talents, based on today's overall trip, the actual range of this car would be about 360 k's. The indicated range on the dash was consistently optimistic. Now, if you do primarily motorway cruising at the speed limit, I'd expect no more than 320, 330. But if it's urban commutes at lower speed, you might extract close to 400 k's from a tank full of 98 octane electrons. But don't bank on it. Right, the executive summary. To come back to the comparison between the Leapmotor C10 and the Tesla Model Y, they're both relaxing and comfortable and they drive really well, but there are a few things that the Tesla Model Y does much better. The software and screens, far more polished, and the voice command system in particular is actually usable for lots of vehicle functions, so you don't always need to go to the screen. The Tesla is quicker, more energy efficient, charges faster if the public infrastructure is up to it, and there are also plenty of second-hand cars around too. Stellantis service network or Tesla probably depends a lot on your local dealer. Now, styling is a personal thing, but with the upcoming launch edition, they've turned a bar of soap into something considerably more attractive, while the Leapmotor is at best inoffensive and at worst bland. Neither car supports Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, although I understand the Leapmotor is likely to add this via over-the-air update. But the C10 does a lot of things very well too. Unlike Tesla, it does have a screen in front of the driver, something a lot of people like. Strongest points: the dual-zone aircon, the sunshade roof, the excellent 12-speaker stereo, very good sound insulation, just as much flexibility with driving modes and regeneration, a heat pump, and I love the air-cooled seats and the silicone leather. The Tesla has a puny 4-year 80,000k warranty, and the Leapmotor 7 years and twice the mileage. They both have an 8-year warranty on the battery. Dynamically, the C10 is really good, especially compared to traditional SUVs. It stayed flat, good bump suppression, grip was fine on the Dunlops, it wasn't upset by bad roads, and it's rear-wheel drive of course, which I like. If you're silly enough to push it in a way that SUVs shouldn't be pushed, the safety and stability control systems are a little overzealous and they got triggered a bit early. That was quite alarming. But hey, too much safety is not something I should be whinging about. Things that aren't so flash, having to turn off the oversensitive safety features every drive is annoying, but if the garrulous lady is talking too much, you can just turn her volume down. I'm guessing they'll sort out the annoying pedestrian alert noise in the cabin through a software update. In the peak hour crawl, that would be really annoying. Now, compatibility with all Australian public chargers is important though. It might have just been my bad luck, but could be something they need to look at and can probably be fixed through an OTA update. Mind you, I know many people who never go to public charging, as both their cars and their bodies recharge at the same time while they're sleeping. But what I would strongly suggest is that you sit in, test drive this car and the Tesla Model Y, because this car will surprise you. Masses of space, and the ride and comfort is first class. One thing's for sure, once you've driven either car, you are unlikely to go back to internal combustion. And if 20,000 bucks is important to you, like then you really should look at it. One more thing, to be blunt, there's an ever-increasing number of people who just don't want a Tesla. They're good cars, so I can't imagine why. Listen, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to McCarrolls at Artarmon for providing this car. And you nice people down here, or you horrible old school salesmen down here?
I think we're the nicest people around.
Okay, so if you want a Leapmotor C10, and there's one behind you, the nice black one, just like the one I had. Yes, yeah. The prices again, $47,500 for the...
$47,500 for the style and $51,500 for the design.
Yeah, might be $51,900.
Maybe.
Depends
Depends on the day.
if we catch you on a good day.
It's always a good day here.
And Teagle will get you a free coffee.
The best coffee in Sydney, 9 years in hospitality, so come on down.
Okay.